You're the girl. Okay. All right. Welcome to tonight's Tribe Team Call. I'm super excited about tonight's team call. I always love hearing from Chantel. She is an inspired lady, and she has some great insights that she's going to share with you guys tonight. So just a little background. So Chantel is one of my personally sponsored coaches. She's a Star Diamond coach on the Tribe, and she's a mom of 4. She's a full-time online teacher, and she's been building this business for about a year and a half. And she actually met me on Instagram. So that's how we were able to connect. And she saw I was a coach. She had actually just started a fitness profile and reached out to me, and she decided to jump in and coach. So anyway, I'm excited to hear from you tonight, Chantel. She is also a Success Club All-Star. So she's hit Success Club for, I can't remember how many months now you're going on, but quite a few. She's going to be a legend. And how many months?
21
months. So she's 3 months away from All-Star Legend. And that's pretty amazing. And basically what that means is she's been consistently building her business. And as you guys know, I just told you she's a busy woman. And so she's had to be consistent, and she's had to keep it simple so she could honor her other priorities. So with that, she's going to share a little bit about that simplicity and consistency and how that's helped her be successful. So Chantel, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you. So Breezy is right. I mean, most of you guys here know me, but I, just a little background really quick. I wanted to be able to help people, and I had I had a major health and fitness transformation myself, and I wanted to be able to help people, and I didn't really know how. And so I had started working on getting my group fitness instructor certification, I guess is what it's called. And that was really hard with everything else that was going on. And I just had a baby that year. So I guess he was less than 1, and with everything else. And so I thought, how can I help people? So while I was teaching classes underneath the supervision of somebody else, I started a fitness Instagram account, because I was like, well, maybe I can just share what I have learned this way. And it turned out to be totally inspired, because otherwise I don't think I would have. I had no idea about I knew Beachbody because I saw the infomercials, but I had no idea about coaching, which I'm like, what world did I live in? How did I not know about this? And Breezy actually, she liked or commented one of my posts that she probably found me through a hashtag. And I really didn't have very many followers. I mean, just like my friends. And so to see somebody else, I was like, who is this? So I, of course, went and stalked her and found out what she was doing, because I was looking at her account, and like I said, I stalked her Instagram and I stalked her Facebook, and I saw that she had just went on a trip to Cancun with, I think that's when Brigitte took her diamonds, if I'm remembering right. I may be making this up, so if I am, sorry, Breezy. But, and I had saw that she, wasn't teaching anymore, and I saw that she was talking about retiring her husband, and I saw that she was helping people with fitness, and I was like, what is this? So I contacted her and asked her questions for about 3 weeks straight, probably, and then finally decided to make the jump. But with that, I just want to talk about a couple of those little clues there. Breezy was, she was searching out hashtags, is my guess. That's the only way she probably would have found me. So that is an important thing to do, and to be even just liking or commenting on other people's posts that you find. And so that was the first thing. The second thing, and this is something that I think about a lot. I know all of you guys have heard this of, of what attracted you to becoming a coach. Those are the things that we need to be posting about. And it's something I think about a lot. And I'm not going to lie, I need to do better at posting more about coaching. Something I'm working on. That's something that's one of my weaknesses that I'm trying to turn into a strength. But those were the things that attracted me. She posted about this trip. She posted about, I remember one of her posts was like at night, and she had a picture of Facebook up, and she was like, this is my job. Like, I'm helping people on their health and fitness journey. And that was something that stood out to me. And the fact that she had, had a way to help people, the fact that she was doing this at home, the fact that she wasn't going back, to teaching. And then also the fact that she was, supporting their family in a large way on Beachbody income, and, had a goal to work towards to retire her husband. So I want you to kind of think about, before we get started, about what brought you to coaching. And take a minute and write these ideas down, because the people that you want to attract to your team are like you. So chances are the things that you're interested in, the people that you want to bring to you are going to be interested in that too. So you don't have to do it right now, but take a little note. Just be thinking, what attracted me to coaching? What made me want to coach? And whatever that is, start posting about it. Start posting, like if you just went to Summit, if you got to go on the cruise, if you've been on trips, on the retreats, or maybe you haven't been here long enough to do that, then, being able to help people, just the way that you're growing, all these things, post about those things. So, that was kind of my little sort of introduction, I guess, to you guys. But keep that in mind that, what brought you here, chances are will bring somebody else. So when I was talking to Breezy about what to talk about tonight, it just wasn't coming to me. And I don't know if it's the first week of school, and with work and my kids going back to school, I don't know if my brain was just full, but it just wasn't coming. And so I reached out to Breezy and I was like, okay, I'm sorry to do this, but what should I talk about? And she said, you know what, it's the last of the month. Why don't you, well, she didn't say I want to, she just gave some ideas, and she's like, talk about, how able to be consistent hitting Success Club, and talk about getting to Success Club, a push to the end of the month, and just the consistency. And so I started thinking about that, and I'm not going to lie, I was like, okay, I can do that. But then I had to really think about the nitty gritty of what I do. Like, what do I tell you guys that isn't going to be super boring, or things you don't already know? But I just had to just kind of break it up and really think about what I do. And it's super simple. And I am like probably the queen of simplicity. And it's just what I have to do to be able to accomplish the things that I need to accomplish, and not drive myself into the loony bin. We all know how it is as, busy mom, busy parents. We're all busy in our own way, and we have to find out what works for us to keep us going. And for me, I just have to keep things simple. And I find myself at times, even with that, trying to keep things simple, I tend to want to overthink things. And, even like with coaching, like I think I started out feeling like I needed to conquer the world, like I had to get everybody to join me. But I realized that it's not the case. You're not trying to conquer the world. Or even when you, like I do a post, and, it's natural for us to do a post, we share our hearts, we do an invite, something, and we want to have a lot of likes, right? We all feel like that. But one thing that I've learned is simple really is the way. And for me, I'm not going to conquer the world. I'm not going to get everybody into my challenge groups. I'm not going to get everybody to become my coaches. But what I can do is I can get one person at a time. And sometimes like last week I did a a live video about the health bet. And after I did it, I was like, oh gosh, I don't know if that was that great. And I almost deleted it, guys. I almost deleted it. And the next day I had like 4 different messages, which, 4 might not seem like a lot, but to me, I was like, 4 different people reached out to me about that. And really just some people even like opened up their heart to me. And I thought, what if I would have deleted that because I was doubting myself? Maybe, I kind of did it right about bedtime. And so there really weren't a ton of likes on it. And I really almost deleted it. And I've done that before with posts that I've been like, oh, I don't know if it was that great. And then all of a sudden one person reaches out to me about that or lets me know that it reached them. And that has really taught me, if you reach one person for maybe a post that you think is so great, if it touches one person, isn't it worth it? So think about that and keep it simple. It's one person at a time. You don't have to feel like you have to have 1 million likes in order to be successful about this. You don't have to have coaches climbing at your doorstep in order to be successful. It's helping one person at a time. So keep that in mind. Like I said, I was kind of just trying to break down things of what I do because I'm like, it's really not anything. It's not. But I can tell you that it's been consistent. And I've learned over the last 1.5 years that the compound effect really is true. It's a principle that you don't see overnight. It's one of those things that, just like the compound effect teaches, those things that are easy to do are easy not to do. Because if you do them, chances are you're not going to see a huge effect from it. And if you don't one day, you're not going to see a huge effect from not doing it. But as you continue to go and do those things that are easy to do, easy not to do, they will compound and they will turn into big things. So I think the number one thing that I want to tell you guys is trust the process of it. I've heard a lot of coaches, coaches that I view as really successful that have said, this business is simple. It doesn't have to be hard. And as you break things down and look at the simplicity of it all and look at how much is already created, I know that's one thing for me is I was trying to reinvent everything. And then I realized like there's so much out there that we do not have to reinvent. You can take things as they are, or take things and put your own little spin on them. But don't feel like you have to redo everything. I know it can seem so overwhelming because you think, gosh, like how the heck do I even grow a team? Like I don't even know how to run a team page or a team training. And I felt like that. I was so scared to invite to coaching because I'm like, I don't even know what to do with a coach. And Nicole Ludwig, she was my first coach, and bless her heart, like she kind of jumped on and we ran together and we talked on the phone. I didn't have a team page. She was my only coach and we would chat on the phone, and that's what we did. And we learned and we grew together. And then it got to the point that I did a team page and then a training and coach training, but those coach trainings I used from things that were already created. So do not be afraid to take what is there. We are on an awesome team. We have an awesome upline. Use what is already there. Okay, so to come back to the basics, the first thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is to run a challenge group every single month. Now that probably sounds obvious, right? But I know that there are people that aren't, because it's so easy that you think you get busy and before you know it, a month has already passed. But say like a challenge group is going to start every month. And there's times that I run a challenge group and, I have my same challengers that follow through with me at times. And there's times that maybe I'll take a week off, that I'll give them a break because I feel like they probably could use a little bit of a break from having to check in and whatnot. I need a break to just regroup and be ready for my next challenge group. And it really hasn't been a bad thing. So that's something that I've done. I don't do it every month, but every few months I'll be like, okay, our challenge group ends this Saturday. The next one won't start until the next Monday. So just make sure you're running a challenge group. Do a free group every month. And I know that like, you're probably like, gosh, I hear this all the time, but it is true. And don't feel like you have to have something planned out. There's been times that I'm like, I'm having a free group in 2 days. And I don't like to plan that close because I don't get as many people in them. But you can still get a handful of people, and it gives you something to have to be able to invite people to. So with that, always have something to invite people to as you're talking to them. As people present, their problems to you, have something that you can invite them to, whether it's a free group or a paid group. One thing that I've noticed as I talk to new coaches, I think that we have, and you guys have probably heard this quote. I don't know the quote for sure, but the problem a lot of the times with things is we feel like there's this vision of how things are supposed to look. And I think that can take place too for challenge groups. It's so easy to be like, well, I'm not ready. I don't have it ready. How can I start a challenge group? I got to have 30 days worth of content. And honestly, like, my personality really isn't like a super OCD personality. So if all of a sudden you've got, your major OCD and you're like, I got to have things ready before I start, like, I get that. But try to take a step away from it. And don't wait to start before till everything's perfect, because we all know, is there ever a perfect time to really do anything? No, there's not. Start your challenge group. Start inviting people. Set a date. On the 5th, I'm starting a challenge group. You can, what Brittany is typing, there are whole challenge group posts in the tribe page. Go to the tribe files, and there are challenge groups in there that you can totally use. Those are yours to use. Start a challenge group. The best thing that I did that launched me into my business is when I started with Breezy, I didn't start in a challenge group. I didn't start to be a challenger. I started to be a coach. And within 2 weeks of signing up, I was running my own challenge group. And you better believe that I was nervous as heck. I was starting it in January. It was over Christmas break, and my goal was to have that challenge group ready before Christmas break ended. Well, it's my 2 weeks off of work. My kids are home. It's Christmas time. I didn't have that group ready, and I was scared to death. And and Breezy was like, you can run your group with me, and which was super awesome. And I was like, okay, let me see how many people I can get, because if it's just one person, I don't know if I should just if I just want to hang out with one person in my Facebook group, But in hindsight, even if I only had one person, I should have done it, or I still should have done it. But I was scared to death, and I didn't know what to do. And I went into the files, and I saw some posts, and I used some of those posts. But I just started with day one. And every day I would get up in the morning, and I would go off of what the challengers were saying. And that's what I would write the post to. If a lot of people if I saw the common thread of somebody struggling, or if somebody wrote about something they were struggling, so often I would sit down at Pinterest, and I still do this, and I'll type in like motivational quotes or something, and I'll look for quotes, and I'll get all ideas off of that. But I just decided to go right where I was. I wasn't ready. So don't be afraid to just start right now where you are with what you have. It's going to be great, and you're going to evolve, and you're going to figure it out. But don't be like, I got to have 30 days worth of content before I can start a challenge group. If you have the time to get that ready, that's awesome, but don't let it hold you back. Since then, I do pin, I put posts into Scheduler, and I love the challenge tracker, because I'll just put them in and schedule them. But there still are times. I'm into the week 3 of my challenge group, and the first 2 weeks, I've just been putting them in every day because I just haven't had the time to sit down and do them. So whatever works for you, but don't not do it because you don't have stuff ready. There's tons of resources available. The next thing that I want to talk to you about is inviting. Now, like I said, these things are simple, but one thing that is so important is that you are present in social media. People need to see what you're doing. They need to start to get to know you. And it's hard. It's super scary. It's hard as heck. I don't know of anybody who does a post and doesn't quite question themselves a little bit about it, like, oh shoot, oh, I was really, really open on that, or, oh my gosh, I don't know. But just do it. Sometimes, actually most of the time, you just have to learn to do things afraid. You got to do it. You got to go for it. Post on social media. Share your personality. As you post and you show what is possible, people are going to start to trust you. If you are, if you're pregnant, show that you can continue to be healthy while you're pregnant. I can't tell you how many people I talk to who say, oh, we're planning on getting pregnant soon, so I don't want to start something. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, no, you got to take care of your body. You know, show that if you're pregnant, it is possible to take care of your body. It doesn't, you don't have to go all intense, but maybe if you're a new mom, show like it is possible to take care of you before your baby's a year old, or before you get to the point that you've totally lost yourself. Or maybe you have gotten to that point. Show that there's a way out. If you work all day long and you're in the corporate world, show that it's possible to build a business while you're doing that, while you're working a job. Show that it's possible to get workouts in. That, yeah, I got to be to work by 8 o'clock every day or 7 o'clock every day. But by waking up 30 minutes earlier, just 30 minutes, I can do this, and it sets the tone for my whole day. Show that it is possible. If you're a busy mom, show that you can do this with your kids, and you're an example to your kids. Wherever place that you are in, show up. Show yourself. Show what is possible. Also, and I think you guys, everybody knows this, but when you're sharing on Facebook or social media, don't be afraid to add value. Add value to people's day. Be a positive light. We all know that we see people a lot of the times complaining about Facebook because it's always so negative and da-da-da-da. Don't be afraid to be positive and be a positive light to the world, because I guarantee you, whether people are liking your posts or not, they are seeing you, they're appreciating your positivity, and they may not say anything, and they may watch you for a long time, but they appreciate the bright light that you are as they're scrolling through. So don't be afraid to do that, and just get on. There's times that I really don't know what to post. I'm like, shoot, I need to post something, and I've got nothing. So often I will go to think about what I've read in my personal development. I'll go, like I said, Pinterest is like my best friend. I go there all the time and just find quotes in its thing, and that's what helps me think of things to write about and whatnot. So just being consistent about showing up on social media, and even just one thing to keep in mind, I know Breezy's talked about this before, is like the algorithms of Facebook. So this summer, I'm Sunday, I think, posting, and I noticed a difference. Like the next morning, like my post that I always do in the mornings had like one like. One. I'm all, and I don't think it was the post. I think it was because I missed a day posting. And so make sure that you're consistent about being on social media. Something that I've thought about a lot, because one thing that I was really nervous about joining this business is I was like, I do not want to be a salesperson. I do not want to be that person that people like see me coming down the halls at church and they turn the other way because they don't want to talk to me, because I'm like, I don't want to have to be selling stuff to people. I hate that, And so as I think about, like, every time I want to talk to somebody, I'm like, okay, I don't want people to think that I'm a lot of people know that I'm building this business. I don't want them to think, she's just reaching out to me because she wants me to join her or whatever. And that's something that I think about a lot. And I think I don't want to come across that way. But something that at our Super Saturday, this last one, Micah Folsom talked about this a little bit, and it really, really hit me. And she talked about relationships. And she said, build relationships and be good to people for no reason. And I really love that. And And I've thought about that a lot as far as building relationships with people. And it's one of those things that, well, let me talk to you a little bit more about what she said, and then it might make more sense. But talking to people just to be a friend, be interested, not interesting. Don't be afraid to reach out. And she also talked about, when this will tie into it too, that somebody asked, well, how do you go from a conversation that you're having with somebody into an invite? Like, how do you make it not awkward? And she says, if it's awkward to go into invites, then you're not talking to enough people. So we should be in conversations with people all the time. And one thing that I do, even if I've got a super busy day, or like this summer, we were traveling a lot, we were gone a ton. One thing that I do is I make sure, I try to invite every day, but I'm not perfect at inviting every single day. But I try to make sure that I'm talking to people. I'll sit there for a minute and just think for, just and if somebody comes to my mind, I send them a message and just say hi. And I think, in fact, I know building relationships is a huge piece. You want people to know that you want to be their friend, not because you want them to buy a challenge pack or become a coach someday. You just want to be their friend. You love people. You love chatting with people. And the more that you chat with people and the more that you're talking to people, the easier it's going to get. And it will be easier to just talk to people in general. And one thing that, for me, this business has helped a lot. I could talk to people, but I kind of struggled, especially if the other person doesn't really help carry on the conversation. But after spending the last year and a half talking to lots of people in person and through Messenger, I went on a trip this summer, my husband and I, with 53 other people on a bus for 6 days. And I couldn't believe how easy it was for me to talk to people. And I kind of shocked myself, to tell you the honest truth, because I was like, this is kind of my first real opportunity of being around a lot of people that I didn't know really for a long time since I'd been in a situation like this. And I thought, oh my gosh, like, it's true. Like, as you practice something, you really do get stronger. So don't be afraid to just talk to people without an agenda. Just reach out to people. Ask them how they're doing. Look at their Facebook page. If you see something, about somebody and you want to talk to them about it, reach out and send them a message. Don't just send messages with an agenda of wanting to invite. Get to know people and Micah said she's like, I was just building relationships nonstop. And then somebody asked her, well, when's the right time to invite? And she says, when the time is right. You'll know when it's right. And like, we're problem solvers. We're here to help people. And eventually the conversation will possibly go to that. And if it doesn't, that's okay. You've been chatting with this person and you have a conversation. If it's starting to kind of die down, don't be afraid to be like, hey, it's been great chatting with you. I'm excited to keep in touch with you on Facebook. Good luck with your race, or hope your kids have a fun school year, whatever. Don't be afraid to exit it, but then keep building relationships. Comment on things, on people's, on their social media. Build relationships. And like I said, talk to people without an agenda. Another thing that she had mentioned that I've really tried to keep in mind is, how like we know that scrolling is, kind of a time waster, and we can get sucked in. Part of me, I kind of feel torn about this, because I feel like I have to be really careful with this, because I can get sucked in and waste a lot of time. But I feel like just quickly scrolling through and seeing people that are out there that are showing up on my newsfeed, I can get to know them better. And I have a chance to see what's going on in their lives. But one thing that Micah said that I really liked is, she's like, if you're going to be scrolling, make sure you're not just scrolling and being a ghost on the wall. If you're scrolling, you make sure you're interacting with people. You're liking people's stuff. You're commenting on people's stuff. So I've really kind of taken to that, because what Breezy's saying, set a timer to scroll and interact. Exactly. Because all of a sudden, we all know what happens to Facebook. All of a sudden you look up and it's 30 minutes later and you're like, crap, there goes half my power hour. I only had an hour today. So be intentional about what you're doing. If you're going to get on and search, look at what people are doing, comment, interact with them. Don't just sit and waste your time and just look. So like I said, I think super simple, but running challenge groups. Do not be afraid to run a challenge group. You're going to do great. People already are looking to you as a leader. You may not see yourself as a leader, but I promise you, if people are joining your challenge groups, they see you as a leader and act the part. Even if you don't believe that you are, you just get in there. Nobody knows that you don't think you're a leader besides you. So if you show up and are like, heck yeah, I'm going to lead this group and I'm going to practice what it's like to lead this group, they're going to see you as a leader and they're going to think that what you're posting is great. So don't overthink it. Get in there and do it. Build relationships. Talk to people every single day. Like I said, I send out messages every day. And there's times when I really am like, I don't know who to invite. And this summer, being gone so much, I wasn't doing as much work coaching-wise as I would have liked to. And so I was still talking to people, but not as many. So kind of here now we are. And I'm like, okay, shoot, I don't really have a ton of people to talk to because I haven't been doing what I should have been doing. And I really didn't know who to invite. And I spent like 3 days just starting to chat with people because I'm like, I don't really have anybody to invite right now. And I don't want to just do a random invite, But after you've been talking to people and chatting with people and these groups are coming up and you've been posting about them too, don't be afraid to go to those people that you've been chatting with, that you've kind of, you've been building a relationship with. Don't be afraid to be like, hey, I've got this challenge group starting and, it's a great place full of positivity. It's just fun. And, it makes it simple to be able to do your workouts, in 30 minutes, whatever. I would love to have you in the group. Would you like to join? So after you've been building a relationship and you've chatted with these people before, don't be afraid to ask them and invite them. And that's kind of what I've done is sometimes as I'm talking to people, it forms into it. Sometimes we're talking to people and the conversation ends like, okay, see you later. You're starting to talk about the weather, time to go. And then all of a sudden I'll get a random message from them when they see a post that I've done like, hey, okay, tell me about this. Or sometimes I just go straight to them if they've come to my mind. And that's another thing. When somebody comes to your mind, take advantage of it and send them a message. Chances are there's a reason they're coming to your mind. Maybe not even that they're going to join you, but maybe they just need a friend at that moment. They need to know that somebody's caring about them. And I'm not going to lie, I take that really seriously. I'm not perfect at it. And then there's times that I'm like, oh, shoot, who was that came to my mind this morning that I really felt like I said message and I didn't? And there's times I really can't even remember who it was. So, but then there are a lot of times that I will just stop what I'm doing, send a quick message, let them know, just say hi, see how they're doing. So when people come to your mind, message them. Don't be afraid to. Just be a friend. Okay, the follow-up. This is something that can sometimes be a little bit awkward. We all know what it's like to have crickets, right? And this is one of those things that I don't know if there's really right or wrong reason to do this, or right or wrong way. It's one of those things that you just kind of have to fill it out. Like there's times that I'll be like, hey, I don't mean to be buggy. I just was wondering, if you had a chance to think about that, or, hey, I just wanted to let you know that this is starting next week. And, if it's a right fit to you, that's something that I say a lot. Like, if this is something that would be a good fit for you, I would love to have you. And sometimes they answer back. Sometimes they don't. But we all know that the key is in the follow-up. Don't forget to follow up. Just because somebody hasn't answered you back, don't worry about if they never answer you back and you've tried time and time and time again, then I usually give up. But a lot of the times after, just, hey, just thinking about you, or sometimes I'll try to change the conversation, but don't just forget about it. And it just depends. Sometimes I'll give, a few days. There's times that sometimes I need to get more organized. So I'll be like, just kind of looking and I'm like, oh shoot, I haven't followed up with them a little bit or for a while, but just make sure that you are checking up with people, because so often people forget. And something that I think it was last year that I heard at Summit, that they said, you're thinking about Beachbody all the time because this is your business, but other people aren't. So it's not like they're ignoring you. Most of the time they've just forgotten to message you back. So just because someone doesn't answer, don't be afraid to answer back. Just a few things. One thing that I feel like really helped me, that was a big game changer, and most of you have heard me talk about this before. Let me see. It's the Power of 3 sheet. And I got it from, I don't even know where I got this. I think that I got this from something Breezy had posted, and last fall, Carl Deichler talked about it, but it's just this sheet. I don't even know if you can see it. But basically it's 3s to add to your, just add as a friend, to connect, invite, follow up, and present the business opportunity. So like 3 people a week. And this was something that really got me in the habit of, first of all, being able to set boundaries, because I never felt done before I started working on this. Hang on just a second, sorry. I never felt like I knew when to stop. But this, I felt like when I had that done, I could do it. I could stop. And this is where I kind of want to bring in the time thing, because I do work as a full-time online teacher. And so I need to get that done. I do have 4 kids, and we all know how busy kids can be. And I have a husband and church callings and whatnot. So as we all know, like, we don't want to spend our whole entire lives trying to build this business, but it is possible on limited amount of hours. Now, I wish that I could do more hours, but some days it is what it is, and I have to be okay with that. So with that, give yourself a direction. Focus on what it is that you're doing. If you are doing, like for me, when I need to focus just on my work, I shut down Facebook. I have to, because what I've found is what I do is I'll bounce back and forth between things, and then I never feel like I get anything accomplished. And so being able to turn off my email for work when I am working on my invites, or being able to shut down Facebook, turn my phone to silent, and go straight to my email and do my work. So finding a way to compartmentalize your life. And I know that's hard sometimes with kids. It's really hard, because you're like, I'm totally focused in on this and everybody needs me, every 2 minutes. But with that, as we all know, it's just finding those times that you really can focus. And sometimes it means being able to do it with kids around. I get that. I totally do. But block out times and be specific about what it is that you're doing. Back to this Power of 3. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping around. But what that helped me is that really helped me started to connect with people, because I would think, okay, 3 people that I'm just going to reach out to and just say hello to. 3 people that I can invite. Who have I been talking to that I feel like I'm at we're at a place that I could invite them, or who have commented on some of my stuff or whatever. But that just really gave me, for me, and it might not work for everybody, but it just gave me a vision of what to stick to and how I should be talking to people. So I don't always fill out one of these Power of 3s anymore. I would like to kind of get back to that. But in my mind, like, I know, hey, I'm going to invite. And I didn't just stick to the 3s. You guys know how it is. Some days you're on a roll of inviting people. And when I would take it and I would go with it on those days that you feel like you really just have it in you, and you've got you've got time, and you've got the mental capacity to just talk to people. Take advantage of those days. With me, I didn't stop at 3 if I had more people in my mind, So so I guess with that is just find a system that works for you and be specific about what you're doing with your time. For me, I kind of do Beachbody all throughout my day. I'll do a little bit and then I've got to put it away and I go into work, and then I'll take a little break and I'll kind of plug in and do some more. I kind of do it in and out is how it works for me. But, you know, if I didn't have my job, I really would like to be more specific about just a set time that this is when I do it, and then come back a few hours later and just do it then. But I have like little windows throughout the day that I do it in. So that's just what works for me. I think to finish up, like I said, I really had a hard time. I'm like, so much of what I do is so basic, but I can honestly tell you is I'm not afraid to run a challenge group. Even though I may not be super confident about what it is that I'm going to do in there, I do it. And I did it from the very beginning. Talking to people, be a friend to people, be a light to people, and don't be afraid to share positivity. Don't be afraid to show who you are. Don't be afraid to show your struggles and how you're working through those. And just being consistent. It's hard. I know, like I said, I've seen people, you know, in different team pages, like, what do I do when I'm totally unmotivated? When I'm unmotivated to invite people, you know, I just sit down and I find people to talk to. If I'm like, I don't know who to invite and I don't really have it in me to invite right now, I make sure that I sit down and I chat with people. I start messaging people, reach out to people, ask them how they're doing. And all of a sudden, when you do that, it all of a sudden it changes your mood, because you're talking to people and you're sending things, you're letting people know you think about them and they're genuine, you know? So whatever you do, make sure you're talking to people every day and be real. To finish up, there's two things that I think that have stood out to me the most, that I've just seen, you know, other people do. And also I totally have to fight through my own mindset of this sometimes too. But it is what is the date today? 25th. So it's really easy to be sitting here on the 25th and be like, I haven't hit Success Club, or gosh, I'm at 0, and think, I'm going to try next month. No, you're not. There are 6 days left in this month. You know what you can do in 6 days? You can do a lot. And don't look at it like you're trying to hit Success Club. Look at it as like, I've got this awesome challenge group that is full of positivity, that what person cannot use more positivity in their life? What person cannot use being around other people and seeing that they're not alone, that other people slip and fall too? Think of it as like, I've got 6 days to invite people to my next challenge group and allow and be a part. Let them join me on my journey. I want to join them on their journey. Don't give up because it feels like it's the end of the month. You've still got time, and look at it as, you know, you're trying to fill your challenge group. And then the last thing, I've already said this, but I just want to reiterate it. Don't hold yourself back because you feel like what you need to do needs to look like what Breezy does, or what Ashley does, or what whoever does. You are you. You're not Breezy. You're not Ashley. You're not Brittany. You're not Crystal. You're you. And that is why people are coming to you, because they like you. You inspire them. So give them you. And don't be afraid to take it one step at a time, one day at a time if you need to. Don't hold yourself back because of what you think things are supposed to look like. So that's kind of my little basic tips that just kind of have helped me getting people, is you just don't give up and commit to go all in. Whatever that looks like for you, be here. Do it. Commit. It doesn't have to take over your whole day. It doesn't have to take over your whole life. But if you are talking to people every single day and you're committing to that, and you're committing to do those things that you've got to be consistent about, I promise you, you will grow stronger. You'll get better at talking to people. You'll be more excited about it. Don't be afraid to just be you and be confident in what you have to offer. So with that was going to be really short, and it wasn't. I get long-winded. I'm sorry, but that's all.
Thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions for Chantel? I am going to share that Power of Threes in the tribe page, along with the link to other trackers in the tribe files. But seriously, guys, as soon as after I shared that with Chantel, it was hilarious because after it was a month later, she's like, this is amazing. I feel so much more confident, more progress in my business because she was just using that simple thing of Power of Threes. So if you're struggling with being organized or where you're going with your invites or anything, that's definitely a good tool to add to your Power Hour for sure. Questions, anyone? Okay, you know where to post if you do have any questions. Thank you so much for getting on tonight. And Chantel, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. Okay, have a wonderful night, you guys.
Thanks for coming, guys.